investments in real estate. Once people realize how much they're being taxed, I think people don't have any idea how much they're being taxed. I mean, they go, oh, the tax cuts, that's going to cut our income taxes. I asked, gosh, I can't remember his name. Back in 2016, the economic advisor for President Trump's campaign, I'm sorry I've forgotten his name. I had an occasion to meet him at a television studio. And so one of the things I said to him is, what is Trump, if he wins, going to do about payroll taxes? That's the biggest problem, impediment for creating jobs. And he said to me, I absolutely agree with you. It's the biggest impediment for creating jobs. It's our big, it's one of the biggest tax revenue sources. But nothing. No politician is going to touch reducing the payroll taxes because that's where Social Security and Medicare is being funded, and we don't want to talk about those things. I think that people need to become aware of how badly their money is being used and how much of it is being taken. All right, number 4, my 4th strategy is present examples of how the free market will give them opportunities. So I had a neighbor not too long ago who, in St. Louis, who he was a young man and he was having trouble finding and maintaining a job. He wasn't particularly educated, but he was a nice man and he really liked cars. So I said to him, why don't you be a mechanic? He says, well, I can't find a job and I like to work on people's cars, but every time I work on a friend's car, I get a ticket from the city. So basically what was happening is he was like working on people's cars, and there's not a lot of driveways where I live in the city of St. Louis, everybody's street parking. So he's like working on a car on a side street, and then he would get ticketed for running a business on a public place without having a license. And he got so many tickets that he got put in jail because he couldn't pay them. And sadly, this is like a pretty common story in St. Louis. St. Louis actually has a real problem with people violating ordinances. There's so many warrants that the city actually had to pass a law that forgave all the warrants and forgave all the tickets because it just overwhelmed the city jails. So I talked to him again, like, I know it seems ridiculous. How can the free market help you? If the government isn't in your way, you get to fix cars, they're happy, their car is fixed, you're happy, you got money, you can take care of you have a small baby. So I said, why are you voting Democrat? The city of St. Louis is pretty dang Democrat, and they're ticketing you. That's how you get into people's minds. My 5th strategy, I think we need to watch the language that we adopt and get away from language that is socialist language. So capitalism, for example, has been basically co-opted as a word for socialists, saying that you're stealing people's labor. I hear people say that a lot, actually really a lot more in California than elsewhere, but still. I think it's important to say free market when you can, and also not adopt the idea that somehow workers are exploited. I don't believe that workers are exploited. I believe you have time and you have energy and you have skills and you're selling them to somebody who's going to buy them. Every employee is a little entrepreneur. And that's kind of a hard concept for people to grasp. A lot of people think that they're entitled to jobs and that when they're working and the employer's taking advantage of them when they have profit. I've literally had people say to me that profit is theft. It's not. You're trading your time and your energy for money. And if you don't like that, then trade something else. My 6th strategy is, I think this works particularly well in like the Midwest and the South, is remind people that we're self-reliant. Remind people that culturally we're innovative, that we value our independence as people. We don't want to be out here. We don't want to be like California. Okay? California has the highest poverty rate in the country by a large margin, and the reason for that is that it's socialist. It's too expensive. I think the average person out here, I moved out to the Midwest in 2011, and I like it so much better because I do find that the average person I talk to has a cultural leaning towards being independent and self-reliant. They don't like the government messing with their lives. And that is the American way. You tap into them and say, okay, don't you agree that you want to take care of yourself? Don't you, we can talk about this in the context of gun control, for example. You don't want to sit around and wait for the police to show up when somebody's breaking into your house. You don't want to sit around and wait for the government to give you a job. You want to take care of yourself. And when you, I think, tap into that feeling, again, you become more sympathetic to libertarian solutions.